Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Minerva deck profile for post Clash of the Heroes. We got some new support for the Minerva deck in the Set 11 Cardfight Vanguard booster set. The deck plays very similar to the original Minerva we had both in the original Limit Break format and also the V format Minerva, being able to restand this Vanguard and make use of the Soul Blast power that Genesis is known for in the deck, using the Omniscience Regalia Minerva, and then also all the new support, including a couple new promo cards and some of the new cards from DBT11 Clash of the Heroes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. For the actual ride deck, we are consisting of cards needed for the actual lineup, including our original Regalia cards, with our grade 0 being Vivid Rabbit when rode upon. If you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1, Witch of Frogs Melissa. When this unit is rode upon by a unit with only Genesis for its clan, you check top 5, choose 2 cards from among them, put them into your soul, and shuffle your deck. And then also having an additional card effect when utilized when dropped from the soul. But we'll go over that card when we get to some of the other setup in the deck, along with some of the other cards we've run. When it's put in the drop zone, if you have a Vanguard with Minerva, you may call this card to back row and soul charge 1. So just making up for a rear guard use, along with our grade 2 Witch of Ravens Chamomile. When rode upon by a unit with Genesis only, you check 5 cards off the top of your deck and choose 2 from among them and put them into your soul and shuffle your deck. So same as Melissa, and also being a counterblast to call to the rearguard when dropped from soul if you have a Vanguard with Minerva, which is also our go-to Vanguard as well. Along with the copy we are running in the ride deck, we are also running 3 additional copies of Minerva. During your turn, if your soul has a grade 3 card with Regalia in its card name, all your front row gets plus 5,000. So that makes use of the next grade 3, as well as a added backup power to our main go-to Vanguard as well, just needing that soul grade 3 with Regalia in its name. So then we have the setup of this card along with the Persona Road Minerva. And then also being able to Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck, and put on the top of your deck or into your soul to set up more cards in your soul for you also. And once return on the Vanguard circle at the end of the battle, this unit attacked, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can counter plus 1, Soul Blast 3, and discard a card with only Genesis for its clan from hand to stand this unit against drive -1. It's that restand pressure that Minerva is known for that you can fully make use of, just being able to discard another Genesis card from your hand to begin with. For the other grade 3s, one of those Genesis cards is Regalia of Wisdom Angelica, which we are also running 4 copies of this card. On rearguard at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you have a Vanguard with Minerva in its card name, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguards. It gets plus 5,000 till end of turn. Then put this unit into your soul and countercharge 1. So you do counterblast quite a lot with cards like Chamomile and Minerva in the deck. So just having a card that can help with the countercharge power in the form of Angelica means it's a definite 4 of just for that setup alone in the deck. And we're also running 3 additional copies of the Witch of Ravens Chamomile. Once again, just option power when it's put from the soul into the drop zone, so you have all these other rear guards to be able to call out onto the field thanks to your Witch of Ravens Chamomile, just needing that counterblast, which you can easily make up for with cards like Angelica. And we are also running 4 copies of Knight of Piercing Cadwalla. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. If you have 4 more units, Soul Blast 1, retire this unit, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 2 or grade card from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And if you did not reveal a card, you draw a card. So you just have more setup for the card revealed to your hand. And even if you didn't, you still have the draw power off this card since you are retiring the unit to begin with. So you at least have that resource to get back also. We're also running the new grade 2 promo. I know it's more of a pricey promo, but with this card being in the deck, it just helps for the overall consistency that the deck is meant to do. If you don't have any Knight of Decree Thassus, you can always put in more copies of Witch of Frogs Melissa, or the new grade 3 backup unit for Minerva that we received in set 11 as well, instead of this unit. But with Thassus, when placed on rear, if you have a Vanguard with only only Genesis for its clan. Then you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose 1 card from among them, put into your soul, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. And at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you have a Vanguard with Minerva, its card name, you soul blast 1, retire this unit, choose a card from your hand, or drop, put into your soul. If you put a card from your hand, you draw a card, making up for more of the resources you may have to invest from your hand, but still giving you draw power and more of the soul setup needed for your Minerva on top of its first initial ability. Moving on now to the grade 1s. We are running 4 copies of the new Magic of Colored Flame Barrelim. When this unit is placed on rear, other than during the battle phase, if you have a Vanguard with only Genesis for its clan, you can Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, reveal it, call it to rearguard if it's a unit card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and discard it if it is not. So more setup on the field, giving you that play for more draw power as well as using other cards from our hand. And on rearguard, at the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a Vanguard with only Genesis, put 2 rearguards into the same column as this, into the soul, and choose a card from your drop zone with only Genesis and its clan and put it into your hand. So just having that play, putting 2 rearguards in the same column as this unit into the soul. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. You have that play and setup for more cards in the soul on top of the other ones we had, while also just being able to put more cards into our hand, using those resources to have discard power for our Minerva. And we are also still running the 4 copies of Apple Witch Cider on rearguard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a Vanguard with Minerva and its card name, you may return this unit to your hand, giving you that other Genesis card you may need for the discard for your Omniscience Regalia Minerva. And when this unit's put on guard circle, if your soul is a grade 3 with Regalia and its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000 till end of battle. Just more shield power as well, making use of the Regalia of Wisdom, Angelica, just like we would for the Minerva Vanguard, and then also having that shield power to begin with. With the last of the grade 1s just being 4 copies of Palladium Zeal. We're running the 4 copies of this card over the Elementaria Sanctitude just because we need those units to be able to reveal off of other cards like Cadwalla to set up on the field to utilize for the cards as rear guards to call outs. And for the trigger lineup, we're running the 4 copies of Blade Feather Dragon and the 4 copies of Daring Knight Saul. Just 8 critical is very pressured in the deck with a restanding Vanguard being able to give that critical and power to that Vanguard and then be able to restand it again for a potential attack that your opponent will not be able to guard, or risk taking the first attack and then guarding the second one, with our next trigger of choice just being the draw trigger Protection Mage Perobi for the additional 5k shield and hand consistency, and also the 4 heal trigger, which are the Recuperate Angel. Not running any of the ability heals, was just my buddy Jim's tech choice for the deck. It's all player preference as well if you want to rely on that, or just have the 15k heal, which I see a lot more people doing as well, with our over trigger being the Spiritual King of Aquatics, Idosforo, having the over trigger 100 million, and then being able to choose a card additionally from your drop, putting it into your hand and choosing one of your units, and it gets critical +1 till end of turn. So even then, being able to give the 100 million and critical to Minerva, and then since it just says one of your units, to then have it restand again for 100 million power with the additional critical. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, big thanks to my buddy Jim for letting me borrow the Minerva deck for the video. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.